Hello Prime Coders, welcome back to Prime Coding channel. So in today's video, I will be taking top 30 Deloitte question, yes, of DBMS plus SQL. Probably I will be covering DBMS in great manner, but in the upcoming video, more questions from the SQL we will see. But in this video as well, we will see some query. That's why I wrote DBMS plus SQL. So all the questions will cover in upcoming minutes. So if you are new to this channel, I am Aditya Mishra and you are watching Prime Coding. So let's begin our journey with the very first question. Okay. So if you ask me, Aditya, what all question is about? So these question is about PYQs and which are repeated many times, because in the morning itself I was searching for questions which I keep on repeating. Okay, so these kind of question, like I found it very basic question are continuously been repeated. So I took all of those questions and I will cover in this particular video. Okay, so what is DBMS and its type, which is a very easy question, but if you know it is good, but if you don't know or you know also, please study and revise. Okay, so our DBMS is a database management system, manages databases and provide an interface to interact with stored data. Okay, so as I try to wrote this particular line in a simple manner or simpler manner so that it can make sense to you. Okay, so it manages the databases. So actually in that DB, which is databases, there is not only one, there would be a multiple databases. Okay, so into that, from you, let's say you are user and you need some middleware so that you can communicate with the present database. So DBMS is doing this particular task. I hope this is pretty much clear to you now with the explanation of this particular line, isn't it? So let me clear a bit. So yes, it manages the databases and provides an interface to interact with stored data. Now there are few types, which is hierarchical databases, network databases, relational databases, and object databases, oriented databases. But we are forget to add is NoSQL DBs are also there. Okay, so for hierarchical database, data is organized in a tree-like structure. Now people may ask, Aditya, why you are mentioning hierarchical network databases? Because in one of the websites I found that they specifically ask what all databases you know. He spoke to, but they want to know about good number of counts. So you should know at least, although you should be perfect in relational, non-relational, not an issue, but at least you should have a knowledge of hierarchical network object oriented DBMS. Okay, so yes, hierarchical is in the tree-like structure, and network databases represent in a graph-like structure. As depends, network will look like similar like to this, like user 1, user 2, user 3 would be there. Everyone would be connected using a edge, can call it as a graph. So allowing many to many relationship. Okay, so university courses and registration is the great example. Please make sure that whenever you are learning something, you should always learn the underlying example, because in interview they want to know or they want to listen these examples on every possible definition that you are speaking. Okay, so relational database analysis system. So data is stored in tables, rows and columns, which is a general definition that you should at least speak. Okay, now NoSQL, which is NoSQL DB, which is the DB which doesn't have table. It's stored in document format, and yeah, it is typically in the JSON or a BSN format. So MySQL on Oracle is an example of a relational database management system. Now the follow-up question made it here as, can you tell me the difference between MySQL and Oracle SQL? In that particular case, it is your homework and you need to let me know in the comment section what is the difference, or at least study if you don't want to write something. Okay, so object oriented DBMS, which is data is represented as the object. Okay, so in mock interview also people do know about mock object oriented DBMS. If you are not aware of, please aware yourself with this particular database, which is similar to OOPS type of language, which is object DB is an example of object oriented DBMS. I hope I try to create the fingertips notes, because I already created a video in depth. I discuss about everything, so I try to make it short so that it could become a last minute preparation for all of you, isn't it? So yeah, what are asset properties and DBMS? So this is the biggest properties which is provided by the DBMS, which is a relational DBMS or type of DBMS, and people do acquire these kind of things because of asset property itself. So atomicity is the which is A stands for consistency, C stands for consistency, I stands for isolation and durability. So let's see, transaction are all or nothing, which means either transaction will happen, like either transaction will go from user 1 to user 2, or it will not do anything to maintain the atomicity property. That's why. So consistency, data integrity is maintained, which means let's say you sent money to your friend which is $200, okay, then it should reflect in your database as well as on your in your friend's database as well. It should not like, okay, you have $400 in your bank and after transaction also you have $400, which is consistency is not being maintained. So everything in the database should be consistent in the manner, otherwise there could be a lot of issues that you can create with your inside your database. Isolation, which itself means speak, if I isolate you, you are as a dot, okay, so no one will disturb you and you can prepare well for your upcoming exam. Same manner, let's say we have the two timeline is going on, and let's say one transaction is going. So if let's say in the another T2 also there is transaction going, but T2 is dependent on T1, that is, which means that on T1 transaction is not isolated and it is open to that other transactions, and it has some dependencies, but in isolation it should not have any dependencies. So which makes sense with transactions do not interfere with each other, then only your transaction environment would be isolated. Now let's speak about durability. Changes persist after system failure. Yes, like if something has been happened, the changes should be saved or it should be revoked, whatever process was ingoing, so that we can conquer the loss of data. Okay, so these are the some basic properties of asset which you should go through. So now let's discuss about the next question, which is what are primary key and foreign key. Okay, see how basic question that Deloitte is asking to the candidate. But yes, we all know in the interview format, do people get nervous and not able to answer this kind of question in the interview? But not a problem. I am here, so we'll telling you everything in a proper manner. So primary key, unique identifier for a record, which is cannot be null. That is the feature of particular primary key, that it can't be unique, okay, or it can't be duplicated. That's why it is unique. So foreign key, which is references a primary key in another table to maintain the relationship. Example, okay, so it's a type, like foreign key is an extension of a primary key which helping primary key to extend to the next table as well. How I will tell you. That's why I wrote a query to understand these things in very easy manner. So create table departments, I created a department table, and department ID is a primary key, which means department ID can't be null anytime. Okay, it should always have some value associated whenever you are filling the data. Now department name is varchar 50, which means you are initializing a department name itself. But a quick follow-up question that you can tell me in the comment section, what is the difference between varchar and char? Okay, so department name, which is varchar 50, you have told. Now you want to create some relationship between the next table as well, which I created an employee table where employee ID is a primary key, employee name is a varchar, department ID int, because every employee definitely have a department ID. So I can extend this primary key to this particular table where the foreign key department ID will be references. See, guys, mind this particular thing which is references. Otherwise in your interview, like in the mock interview, people do mistake with this kind of thing. Okay, they are not able to write the spelling of references. That you should not do in your interview. Okay, so try to learn the spelling, because this kind of thing is usually happened in your unconsciousness of the mind. Okay, so departments, which is the department table, and that particular primary key which you want to extend. Okay, so foreign key, current table, member function or member variable, and another would be the department ID. So it will help you to use the foreign key. So please make sure that you know the foreign key syntax. In the interview, they usually ask about the syntax as well. So now the most asked question, which is what are procedures? So for procedures, also if procedure is coming into the picture, then definitely triggers will also come and views will also come. So we'll see one by one. And if you see any of the interview experiences, like if you visit 5 to 10 interview experiences, you will find that procedure is repeating, trigger is repeating, and views are repeating. So let's cover it in this particular video. A procedure is a set of SQL statement that performs a specific task and can be reused. So reused is a word that can help you to make procedures fit into your mind. It's kind of function which you can reuse, which you can call anytime. Okay, how you can see the example. Okay, so create procedure, get employees count. Get employees count is the syntax to create a procedure. So as begin your code, so whatever I want to perform here, I'm just counting the number of employees. So just you need to write select count star, which is an aggregation function, as total employees from employees. Okay, so this is an LIS are given and this is a table. So end is done. Now execute get employee count. When you execute this, when you write this particular line, it will call this particular function and this can be called and you will get resulted as the count of employees present in your table. I hope you got it. So please make a note of syntax so that in the interview if they ask and you watch this video, you will be nailing the upcoming question. Okay. So what are triggers? What are triggers in DBMS? It is not like the gun trigger that people used to say. Okay, it is a trigger which is like a gun but autopilot gun. Okay, so trigger is a set of SQL statement that automatically execute. So this is the keyword that you need to speak when you are telling about this definition in the interview. Okay, so please make sure that you will make a note of this particular word. Okay, because in IT what people do is they know the particular keywords. If candidate are using those keywords, which means the concept of that candidate is clear with that topic. So yes, do use the keyword as much as possible. So when an event occurs like insert, update and delete, it can be triggered as per the specification. So let's see what is the syntax involved in this particular thing, which is create trigger after insert employee. So I have created a trigger which is after insert employee, after insert on employees for each row. Let's say you inserted 5 employees. Okay, 5 employees. So your insert will become insert into log table where log messages. So what is the log message value? New employee added, new employee name. So what is log? What is log table? If you see in any of the company, even in the prime coding also, we will take count of every action which is going on our website. Who recently logged in, who recently got the notes, who recently booked the session, everything. So that if any time we found that something has been missed out or something is going wrong, we can just see the log table. What was the last operation has been made in our website, so that these problems are occurring. So here, this particular thing, employees have been inserted in log table. It will be there. Okay, 5 employees, push command has been done. If something happens, so we just backtrack this particular command and our system will come to the backstage. Okay, or come to the normalized stage. So yes, this could be done easily. So now I hope you got the topic of trigger, which is automatically execute, and in procedure you need to call. Now another trending topic, which is views. Okay, so what are views? So views in DBMS, a view in virtual table representing a subset of data from one or more tables. Okay, so let's say you have created a view creating 2 to 3 tables. You wrote a join query and you want to see in a specific glance. Okay, because this is not possible that every time you will write a nested queries. Okay, so what you can do, you create a view. Inside that, put the nested query, and whenever you want to see the particular vision of 2 tables, you can just call this view whatever you have created and you are done. As you can see, create view active employees as select employee name department from employees where status is active. So now in the next time, I will be directly calling up the activity employee. I don't need to write this command again and again. If I just write, okay, please select star from view and please can you give me all the details present in this function, it will straight away return you all the employee details who are active in the database. Okay, so I hope you got the concept of procedures, triggers and views. Please make a note of it because this question was totally repeated. Now we have a massive success rate in what? Providing a mock interview where people got shortlisted in multiple companies such as Capgemini, we have TCS, we have Capgemini, we have Infosys, and you name it and you will find those names here. So yes, We are providing more than 60 minutes of mock interview, more than 60 minutes. Okay, it can go until 90 minutes also. Until unless you are not satisfied, we are not leaving the session. We will be providing you your doubt solving session, your mentoring session. Every question on your resume would be asked, oops questions, and much more. As I wrote, HR and MR question would be taken care of. Full interview simulation, so that the mistakes, as I told, people are doing mistakes in references, like the spelling they don't know and they are just writing something and they will find a syntax error into it. So all these basics things you will get to know when you are sitting in the interview, because it may be this opportunity would be the last opportunity for you. Your resume is not getting shortlisted in that opportunity, so you need to give best in whatever opportunity coming into your road. Okay, so if you think you are underconfident or if you think you are overconfident, this place is for you to check yourself. Okay, so yes, if you want to transform your interview opportunity into the offer letter and you want to make your parents proud, Prime Coding is the website that you need to visit. Okay, and guess what? People are taking it nowadays because Deloitte interview is head on everyone. Okay, so now let's speak about the normalization. So normalization is a process of organizing data to reduce redundancy. Now, if you talk in a layman language, please normalize this guy, which means you want to keep that guy calm. How you can do? If he has some problem with their books, we can arrange them. If his clothes has been distributed throughout the room, we can put it into the almirah. So this kind of stuff we can do. So the same thing you need to do here as well. Okay, so to reduce redundancy and improve efficiency, so types would be first NF, second NF, third NF, and BCNF. Now, for that, no repeating groups of atomic values, no partial dependencies, no transitivity dependencies, and strict functional dependencies should be there in all of the types. Now, you may say, Aditya, you just spoke. Who will explain? I will come on to it, because in the Deloitte interview, I found very few experiences where they ask candidate to explain the normalization types. So I created everything in the last so that we can visualize this properly. Okay, you don't need to worry. You are on Prime Coding, which will help you to crack your technical interview for sure. Okay, so yes, what is denormalization? Now sometimes people is too normalized that, let's say a guy wearing a shirt and he's tied his button till his neck, which is he's too normalized, which is he's overfit. You need to make it a normal. So what you will do, you will just unplug the very last button that he tagged, which is on near the neck. So he will become the normal guy, isn't it? So denormalization combines the table for better read performance at the cost of redundancy. Sometimes we need to add few more duplicate values, some more columns as well to make it normalize, because sometimes we do overfit. I hope you got the intuition behind the denormalization, and this is the question where most of the people do get struggle a lot. Okay, we studied about the normalization, but we have not studied about the denormalization. What is all about that? But I hope after this video, denormalization is covered, and if you want to go in depth, please stay till the end. Till the end, I will be telling you everything where you can study these things in a detailed manner. Okay, as I told, this is a revision point that I'm creating. Okay, so now we have the picture, although you got a spoiler in between, but okay, great. So what are joins in the DBMS? Denormalization combines table for better read performance, cost of redundancy is the first part. Okay, by mistake I guess I am mentioning, so please ignore for a while. Let's read it from here. Joins combine data from multiple table. Okay, so types are inner join, left join, right join, and full outer join. So these are the joins which are most commonly used. So return the rows within the matching data. No, Aditya, we are not kind of people who will read this. Okay, so for that, I have a great chunk of resources ready for you. And yes, you can see we have a left join figure. If you use left join on table A and table B on the following key which are common, let's say primary and foreign, then definitely you will end up getting this particular area as an answer. But let's say interview told you to perform the left join, but you need to ignore this particular area. Then what you need to do, you need to just write a single condition. What is that? B key is null and you are done. Great. Now let's talk about the full outer join, which is full red balls you can see. Although this picture I took from Stack Overflow, and this is one of the picture which is there in my revision sheet as well, which I personally use whenever I want to go into mock interviews or whenever I used to go in interviews. Okay, because it has everything written. So I also tell you to pause the screen and take the screenshot so that every day in the morning you can revise. Very good. Okay, so we have an intersection now. So for intersection, what you need to do? For just you need to do inner join, which will give you the intersection of both of the tables, which is table A, table B, applying on this particular thing, and you are done. Okay. So now let's see. If you want, I can see the full outer join will give you whole hell of the table. Let's interview told you want to get the whole of the table, but you should not present the intersection between both of the table. How you can do? You can just write where A key is null and B key is null, and it will result you to remove this particular common place. Okay, so now let's say the similar to the left right join, whatever happened in the left join, just need to place the same thing and you will get the same answer as the left join. So I hope with the pictorial representation this concept is clear to you as well. So explain DDL versus DML commands. Okay, so let's see what is all about. So yes, DDL commands, which is data definition language and data manipulation language. So definition, which means we are defining. So if we are defining something, then definitely create and alter will come into the picture, which is commands for defining structure. So if you want to define, so if you define a table, then only it will be created into a database. If you alter a table, which means how you are defining using alter, you are adding column, you are modifying column, you are multiple steps you can doing using alter, which can define the structure of that particular table. That's why it is come under data definition language. Now in the other hand, we have DML with us. Okay, so we have DML in the picture now. Manipulation commands for manipulating. If you want to manipulate, and definitely in the table you have some values and you want to insert a new value, which is you are manipulating the table. So yes, insert will be there, and update will help you also do that too. So what is the transaction in DBMS? So a transaction is a set of operation treated as a single logical unit. Transaction is a set of operation treated as a single logical unit. People in the interview as well, if someone asks, okay, Aditya or anyone, what do you mean answer? People say, okay, we are sending money to our friend. That is called transaction. No, transaction is called the operation that we are creating or that we are doing. It's treated as a single logical unit, which is coming from in, going to the out, till single logical unit we are considering. So ensuring consistency and integrity of that process. So this is the called of transaction. That's why I mentioned all these questions are very basic, which all candidates should know. That's why these questions are there in the Deloitte list. So define the differentiate or define and differentiate, delete, truncate and drop. Don't you think this is most asked question? Delete, remove specific rows, can be rolled back. Truncate, removes all rows, cannot be rolled back, which is draw, deletes the entire table. So this is the another party, but this makes similarity. Somewhere it makes similar. It removes the specific rows, can be rolled back too, but in truncate, you can remove all rows. Okay, in delete, you need to either you can delete all the particular rows present in the table, or you can delete a single row. But in truncate, you need to delete all rows in a single go, but it cannot be rolled back, which means you can't go back to the another, which is you can't do undo. But here it is possible to do undo. Okay. What are aggregated function in DBMS, which is sum, average, count, min and max. And the beauty of these aggregate functions are, some said that it will find the summation of all the details that you want to find. Average will find the average, count will count the number of things, minimum will find you the minimum stuff, maximum will find you the maximum stuff. Okay, so now why I told you to stay till the end, because you want to prepare for SQL interview question, it is already there. You want to prepare for technical question, it is already there. DBMS is one of the best watch on my channel as well as the SQL. This has all the real time interview questions listed. So this would be the best shot for you, as well as explained in a detailed manner. As you can see, it is of 1 hour. And following to it, we have OOPS in depth, operating system in depth, computer network in depth, and like this is a guidance video though, but you don't need to worry about. If you have time you can watch, but yes, this 3 video or 4 video will help you out to crack your upcoming placement. Okay, so please go and do that. Meanwhile, let's start the normalization topic. So DBMS, which is normalized with the example. Okay, so 1NF, which is first normal form, is the very first type that we discuss in the normalization. So let me start this particular topic, which is ensure that a table contains atomic, which means only one value which is not been repeated, values and non-repeating groups. So I can see, let's say the example. I told you we'll visualize and then we will come on the conclusion. So order ID, I can see order ID is here as well. Then we have order ID it is not repeated. We have product 1, product 2 has been repeated. Where quantity 2 has been repeated. So which means the 1NF is not been repeated, as it says that before 1NF your table looks like that. Now I need to make it atomic. I want only one product. I want only one quantity. I want only one order ID. So if you see, after 1NF, I make it everything in a single go, which is 101, 101, 102, pen, pencil, notebook, 10, 5 and 15 has been done. And now my table looks more beautiful than my above table, isn't it? So now let's talk about this second normal form. Definition: removes partial dependencies by ensuring that every non-key attributes on the whole primary key. If you got it, let me repeat it again. So partial dependency, which means it doesn't have full dependency on every non-key element. Okay, so you need to remove that dependency, partial dependency, that every non-key attributes depend on the whole primary key. I hope you got it. You need to create something in a manner so that attribute should be dependent upon the whole primary key only. Okay, so let me tell you with an example which will make the stuff more clear. Okay, so example would be second NF. You can see order ID. Okay, order ID is there, product ID. It sounds itchy that in the same product we have 2 IDs. So I get to know that I need to separate it somehow. So product name, quantity and customer name are there. So in that, I can't see that all the particular attributes are depending upon the primary key. So how I can do that? So what I did, I created an order ID, I created a product ID, and I created a quantity. So I can see that 101 and P01, P02 and 102. So these all attributes are depending upon the primary key, which second NF want to do that, as well as my product ID, which is also foreign key or primary key coming from the order ID, and every attribute has been depending upon the single primary. That is the second normal form that we did. Okay, please mind this as I try to create the very simple example, so that in the interview, if interviewer asks you somehow, you need to do this, so you will be able to. Now we have a third normal form. Removes transitivity dependencies, which means if something has been dependent, like say if X is dependent to Y and let's say C is dependent to Y, then definitely my X is dependent. So transitivity, you just need to remove it. Okay, so non-key column must depend only on the primary key. Okay, so non-key column should be like dependent on the only primary key somehow, like second normal. So order ID, customer name and customer city has been listed. We have 101, C01, John and New York. As I can see, it is again similar kind of case with the second normal form we saw. And we have an order ID again, and we have customer ID, and we have customer city as well. So what I did, I created a single table. Okay, where order, I will take the order, customer ID and order ID, a single table, which shows the non-key attribute has been dependent on the primary key, as well as C0, C1 is also dependent on the primary key, and customer name, customer city is on the same ground. Now I can say my third normal form has been implemented. Now, boycott normal form. Sometimes people do ask this question direct. What do you mean by boycott normal? So ensure that for every functional dependency like this must be a super key affiliated. Okay, so let's see the explanation, because theoretical thing will come with the imagination first. Okay, so example before BCNF. Okay, so you have a student ID, course, instructor, which has S01, you have 2 ID has been repeated, maths, science, and your Dr. Smith and Dr. Brown. Okay, so I can see that instructor is dependent upon the course, and course is is dependent upon the student ID. Okay, which means two student has these courses. One student has two courses with the same thing. But I can somehow do this kind of thing. As I can see, the student ID and courses and instructor is been differentiated in the other table as well. So after BCNF, what happens is student ID course, which is S01, which is maths, S01, which is science, S02, which is math. So for student, I make the stuff very clear. But let's say teachers, I make the teachers separately so that everyone can see, okay, the maths teacher is Dr. Smith, the science teacher is Dr. Brown. If I won't create this table, then what happens? I need to write Dr. Smith here as well. I need to write Dr. Smith here as well. I need to write Dr. Brown as well. So I can see again the repetition in my table and it's create the redundancy. That's why applied boys code normal form to prevent from that particular issue. Okay. So yes, now this thing has been covered. Now few sets of homework that I want to give you. Just study about the composite key, study about the multi-valued key. Okay, now then study about what super key, then study about alternate key. Okay, so these kind of keys, because keys sometimes are confusing stuff, and people do get confused in the nervous situation. So if I explain everything, this video can go for an hour, and I have already created for it. So I want this video should be on the revision. So for 30 minutes, you can turn down to 15. Like if you watch in 2x, your time would be saved. Now upcoming would be 15 more question on DBMS, and again I would be focusing on SQL this time a lot. Okay, so oops, HR and many more, this kind of revision videos coming. So if you are interested, comment down interested or yes, or upload anything you love to, or otherwise put the heart button all to. It's not a problem. Like this video because this is the only way that you can help me to motivate me to bring this kind of content, because it takes hell lot of time to research on internet that what is currently being going on in the company, then to create this. Although I'm not covered, I would say there are a hell lot of questions which are they are asking, so we need to cover that. For that, I need your support. So like this video, subscribe guys. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe it. Share with your friends. The many times you will share with your friends, it will come you in 2x. If you share only one video, you will get 2x knowledge of it. So let's say if you share to 10 people, you will get 10x knowledge for it. So what are you waiting for? Just like this video, subscribe and comment down below so that we will be bringing the series again, and we'll meet you with a new video soon.